Hello students. Student, in the last video we have to discuss the some questions of the miscellaneous exercise, and the very important type of questions we have to discuss in the miscellaneous exercise, because these questions student mainly ask in the examination always. So we hope that all of you are getting solved by yourself, because if you are not doing the solution in your copy of these questions, then definitely student you will face the problem in examination. So again I am saying you have to just see the video, then after you have to do the proper practice of these questions in your copy. After that you will get the concept automatically, there should be no problem. Is it to be clear? So student, today we will start the some remaining question of this miscellaneous exercise, and I think up to question number 5 we have to discuss in the last video. So from the question number 6 we are getting start today. So question number 6 we are taking, here. So in this question number 6, a very basic question is to be give two examples of two functions. F should be defined from n to z and g is to be defined from z to z, then such that GOF is to be injective. Injective means it is said to be one, but a very important thing, but g is not injective. G is not said to be injective. So basically we have to do the question. F is to be defined. F is to be defined from, in this question number 6, F is to be defined from n to z and z is to be defined from z to z, and we have to just provide an example of these type of functions and the conditions. FOG of GOF is to be injective. GOF is injective. GOF is injective, but Z is not injective. Z is not injective. According to the given condition, we have to just provide the basic answer of this particular type of functions. So basically we have to make the mapping first of all, so that easily you can just imagine the example. Suppose any function f will be defined from natural number to z. Suppose here we are taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here we are taking -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Suppose student, we have to take any function f that should be defined from n to z. So let f of x equals to x. Let f of x equals to x means this is the like this 1 to 1, this is 2 to 2, this is 3 to 3, 4 to 4, means you can just say that student each and every element has the pre-image according to the given definition. So this is the example where we are declaring the function fx will be equals to x, means 1 corresponding to the 1, 2 corresponding to the 2, 3, 4, 5, and many more elements you can just take in the set of natural numbers, and definitely all the set of natural numbers will be available here also. So the corresponding element has the basic image. So basically in this particular part this is said to be injective. Now student, again we have to take the g function which is to be defined from z to z. This is the any g function. So we can take here -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Suppose this g you can take let and let g of x. So you can take either x square, because g is not said to be the injective. GOF is injective, but G is not said to be injective. So basically student, what we are taking, we are saying that suppose G of x will be taken as the modulus of x, or you can take x square also, no problem. Either of the part you can take here. One of the part you have to take. Either modulus x you can take or either x square, because here in both the cases this particular -2, -1 has the two images. -1 has this image and this particular one has this image. So this is this G is said to be the many one function. So you can just map this particular thing according to the given of sets, and you can just take G is many one, means this particular G function is not said to be one. Now student, now suppose G of f we have to find. So G of fx, so it can be written as G of f of x. So basically f of x, suppose we are taking here either modulus x or x square, you can take any of the parts. So this is x. So this is said to be modulus of x. Is it to be clear? Now the student GOF will be defined. So GOF will be defined from natural number to z number, z or not, because here f is n to z and g is z to z. Then this definitely GOF GOF will be defined from N to Z. N to Z. Is it to be clear? So definitely, if any of the natural number we are taking here, then definitely the each and every natural number has the distinct image in Z or not. So definitely it is 1 1. It is injective or 1 1. You can say that it is 1 1. But in this case, this particular function g of x equals to modulus x and g will be defined from Z to Z is not 1 1. Is it to be clear? So basically, student, easily you can give the example. So you can give the example. So this is the basic example where any function fx is x and any function gx. Either you can take modulus x or either you can take x square, no problem. So in this particular question, just we have to make this type of mapping, and according to that, the given situation we have to handle. And just we are saying that GOF is injective, but G is not said to be injective. So you can take this type of example. So this is the suitable example, student. You can just provide the example as per the given question. Is it to be clear? So next question we are taking, but before that, pause the video to note it down. Next question, question number 7. If we are taking here, so in this question number 7, again the similar kind of questions are to be asked. Give examples of the two functions f natural number to natural number, g is natural number to natural number, such that GOF is onto. Again in this case we have to take the function like GOF is onto but f is not said to be onto. Is it to be clear? So importantly, student, here just we are providing the result where GOF is onto but f is not said to be the onto function. Means you know very well about the onto function, because in the case of onto function we are saying that in the any case of onto function whether the codomain elements has its pre-image in domain or not, or you can just prove that codomain equals to range also. Then we will check whether which is the found to be the onto and which is not found to be the onto. So here GOF is onto but f is not onto. So this case is to be checked here. Then we will take this question. We will take this question on the board. So next question number 7, where we have to just given the two functions f natural number to natural number and g is also said to be the natural number to natural number, and we have to just provide the example where it is found to be GOF is onto but f is not onto. F is not onto. So according to the given situation, we have to provide the example. So again, we have to do the make the some kind of mapping here. So this is f and g. So f natural number to natural number, it is to be defined here, and here again the g is to be defined from natural number to natural number. So here we will write 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we will write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And here you can take the again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is it to be clear? Because you know very well all the functions are to be defined from the natural number to natural number. Now we have to declare the function fx. So this is the any function f. So basically let fx equals to, suppose we are just it is said to be the 1 1, but we are not taking this as onto. Means either of the element not has the pre-image here. We are taking the function like this. So suppose we are taking the function as x plus 1. So according to this part, if 1 is to be taken, then it is 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. Means the some remaining elements have also the image in the codomain, no problem. Now student, this 1 is not to be here. Means this particular element 1 does not has its pre-image. So this particular function is not said to be onto. So basically, according to the given situation, we have to take this function as x plus 1. So that here you can just map this part. Then definitely, student, you cannot get any pre-image of this element 1. So if either of the element does not have the pre-image in the domain, then it is not said to be onto function. Now student, we have to take the another function g of x. So g of x, how we will take here, because here the given question GOF is said to be onto, then definitely you can take the important thing. Suppose here 1 is to be equals to 1, then after we have to take x minus 1. So 2 minus 1. So basically we have to take the function. This is 1 for x equals to 1, and this is x minus 1 for x greater than 1. Suppose we have to take this situation. So basically we are taking 1 for 1. So x equals to 1, then it is 1. And after that we have to take 2, then this situation 2 minus 1. So 2 minus 1 will be 1. So this is like this. And then after 3 we are taking, then 3 minus 1 will be 2. Then 4 minus 3 will be means 4 minus 1 will be 3, and situation should be like this. Is that to be clear? So this is the any function g we are taking. Now student, we have to calculate the GOF. We have to calculate the GOF. Is it to be clear? So GOF will be defined from the natural number to natural number. So GOF will be defined from natural number to natural number. Is it to be clear? So here GOF function is to be get defined. Then this GOF, if we have to calculate, then g of fx will be written as g of f of x. Now f of x will become x plus 1. Is it to be clear? And now student, we will say that this is said to be 1 for x equals to 1, and here suppose we are using x plus 1, then it should be x. X will be for x is greater than 1. So this is the GOF function. Now we are checking whether f is not onto this condition, you can check here, but here we can check whether the GOF is onto or not. So GOF is onto or not means we have to check the codomain element. So codomain will be set of natural number. So basically student, we can take any of the natural number, then definitely you will for x equal to 1 it will be x. 2 for 2 3 for 3 4 for 4 means you will definitely get the pre-image of each and every codomain element lie in the set of natural number. So it is onto. So it is onto. So basically student, you can just give the example, means this particular example you can give where you can assume the two functions as fx equals to x plus 1 and gx will be equals to like this, x equals to 1 for 1, and for x greater than 1 we will write here x minus 1. So many kind of examples you can take here, no problem, but a suitable examples just we have to provide, then you can just draw the mapping and you can write the any kind of expressions according to the given condition. We have to map the particular thing, otherwise the question will be wrong. So definitely student, you can map this part and you can just give the example. So this is the answer of this question number 7. Just you can imagine, and you can imagine much more examples also just after doing the practicing of this type of mapping. So next question we are taking student, the question number 8, but before that pause the video to note it down. So the question number 8 we are taking. In this question number 8, given a non-empty set x, consider p of x which is set of all subset of x. Means you can say that p of x is said to be the power set of x. I think each and every student know very well about the power set. Define the relation R in Px as follows. For subsets A, B in Px, A are B if and only if A is subset of B, is R an equivalence relation or not? Justify your answer. Means here student, the theory of subset is to be very important, as well as the power set is to be what. Then each and every part just we have to discuss here related to the power set, and the relation is to be defined as subset A, B, P of x, A or B if and only if here this particular A is given as the subset of B. So just we will take the question number 8. Next question number 8 we are taking. So student, in this question number 8, basically let you can say that x is any set containing the element 1 and 2, then what should be the power set of x? You can just understand this question by this example. So power set is the subset of all the sets. So how many subsets are to be there? 2 raised to power 2, that is 4. So you can write all the subsets. You can write all the subsets. So this is the Px, and any relation R is to be defined from Px to Px. Is it to be clear? So this relation is to be defined like this. This is the power set of x. You can just check the theory of power set. Power set is the set of all kind of subsets. So we have to take any set 1, 2 suppose. Then you can make the all subset. Then the all subsets are to be written in the form of set. Then it is known as the power set of x. Now the relation R, A or B is to be given as here you can say that any of the relation A or B is to be given as this is any set A if A is subset of, suppose here we will write X such that here or you can say that A is subset of B. For all A belongs to power set of X and B belongs to power set of X. Is it to be clear? So this particular relation is to be given here. So basically student, in this question the relation is the A or B means we are taking the two elements and elements are to be taken from the power set, and definitely the relation is A is subset of B for all A belongs to the P of X and B belongs to the Px. Now for the equivalence cases we have to check the reflexive. First of all we have to check the reflexive case. So in the reflexive case student we have to take only the one set. So A belongs to the power set of X. Then A comma A belongs to A comma A implies that A is subset of A, and which is always found to be true because any set is always said to be the subset of itself. So which is always true, which is true, and which is true means you can say that A comma A belongs to relation, so it is reflexive. So it is reflexive. So there should be no problem to understand the reflexive nature. Student, here any of the subset you can take, suppose 1. So this particular subset 1 is said to be the subset of itself or not. So definitely any set and each and every set is always said to be the subset of itself. So that this particular relation is said to be reflexive. Next we will check for the symmetric. Next we will check for the symmetric. This let A comma B belongs to the any power set of X such that AB belongs to R. AB belongs to R implies that A is subset of B. But student, BA does not belongs to R because suppose we are taking this and this and this. So this is the subset of this part, but this is not subset of this part. Is it to be clear? So basically, if AB belongs to R, then A is subset of B, no problem. But always BA means if A is subset of B, then this B sometime may or may not be the subset of A. Is it to be clear? So this does not belong to R, so it is not symmetric. So it is not symmetric. And student, now you can check for the transitive case always, because the relation is not symmetric, then definitely you can say that this is not said to be the equivalence relation. And justification means you can just imagine this example. You can say that this 1 comma 2 this particular 2 is the subset of this part, means AB belongs to this, but you can say that this 1 comma 2 is not a subset of 2. Here in this condition, these conditions can be used here. Here A and B are the two sets. Is it to be clear? So here AB belongs to R, but BA does not belongs to R. So it is not said to be symmetric. And student, if it is not symmetric, then definitely it is not said to be the equivalence relation. But you can check for the transitive always, because in the case of transitive, we have to take the three sets A, B and C. A is subset of B, B is subset of C, then definitely student A is subset of C. So the relation is said to be the transitive, but here the relation is not said to be the symmetric. That's why this is not said to be the equivalence relation. So you can check for the transitive always. It is always said to be the transitive, but due to this part, it is not said to be the equivalence relation. Is it to be clear? So some kind of language you can distract, but student, we have to understand the meaning of power set, because the relation will be defined in this power set. Means we have to take the elements from this power set. Only this thing is the very important here. Nothing is the much more important. So student, next question we are taking. Before that, pause the video to note down the answer of this question number 8. And next question number 9 we are taking here. In question number 9, again student, given two non-empty set. This question will belong to the binary operation student. So that we are not taking this question number 9, because this question will belong to the binary operation. This is not to be included in our syllabus. So directly we will move to the question number 10. Find the number of all onto functions from the 1, 2, 3 and to itself. So this question is the very simple, because in the theory part the student we have to discuss the thing. In this question number 10, find the number of all onto functions and the set is to be given as 1, 2, 3 up to n to itself. So direct answer, student, you can give the answer here as n factorial. This answer is to be given as n factorial, or you can just understand the answer, why the answer is to be obtained as n factorial. You can just see the answer of this question number 10 here. So suppose this question number 10 means any set A is to be given as 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on n, and any f function is to be defined from A to A. Then we have to find the total number of onto functions. Total number of onto functions. So no problem, student. In such type of cases, you can make this type of mapping. Here 1, 2, 3, 4 up to n. And here again, this is to be defined from itself 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on n. So this is set A and this is any set A. Now we have to find the number of onto functions. Then we have to check the whether the pre-image of this part is to be available or not. So suppose these n elements are to be there, these n elements are to be there, then how many options are to be there to occupy this particular n? So this particular one can be related either with this part, either with this part, either with this part, either with this part, means there are total number of n choices are to be there to relate this particular one element one. Now student, you can just see the 2 means now this particular one will be get connected with either of the element. So for the 2 there will be n minus 1 choices are to be there. So for this part we can say that n minus 1 choices will be there. Similarly for this 3, n minus 2 choices will be there, so that this particular n has the choices only one at last. Is it to be clear? And this particular part will be written as n factorial. So student, we have to just see the pre-image of codomain. So we have to become the function as 1, 1 and onto. Then we have to check the pre-image, means this particular element 1 has the n options to occupy either of the place. But this particular element has the n minus 1 choices. This particular 3 has the n minus 2 choices. Similarly, this particular last element n has only 1 choices. And this whole particular thing will be defined as the n factorial. So here the total number of onto functions will be declared as n factorial. Student, a standard formula you have to keep in mind always. And in the theory section, just I will tell this particular formula also. So you can take the answer from where, or you can understand like this. Is that to be clear? So pause the video to note it down the answer, student. Next question number 11 we are taking. In this question number 11, just again a very simple part is to be given. S is to be given as ABC, T is to be given as 1, 2, 3. Find f inverse of the following functions from S to T if exist. So if exist, so you can just see the answer here only. So this particular function f is to be given A3, B2 and C1. So you can map like this. This answer is to be explained here. So this is A3. So this is A3, B2 and C1. So student, easily you can say that this is said to be the 1, 1 plus onto, because easily you can say that this particular function has a one distinct image of the distinct domain element, and the pre-image will be also there. So f inverse directly you can write here. F inverse means you can just revert the ordered pair, means this will become 3a, this will become 2b and this will become 1c. Is it to be clear? So this is the f inverse of the very first part. Now the second part, you can just make the mapping here. So if we have to map the second function a2, so a belongs to 2, then after b1, so b1 and c1, so c also belongs to 1, so it is not 1, 1. So it is not 1, 1 function. So uh, inverse does not exist. Inverse does not exist. Is it to be clear? So easily student, you can just provide the answer. Here this function is many one, not 1, 1. Then it is not said to be the bijective function. So inverse will not be existed. So this question does not have the inverse, but this question has the inverse. Then easily in such kind of cases, already we have to discuss the examples in the theory part, where if any kind of function is to be written like this, then generally we have to revert the particular ordered pair if the inverse will be existed, and inverse will be existed whenever the function is said to be the bijective. Is it to be clear? So again, this question number 11 is to be the very simple question. You can just note down the answer and you can just map this part and you can just provide the answer. So student, pause the video to note it down. Then we will take the next question. So the next question 12 will belongs to the binary operation. We are not discussing this question belongs to the binary operation. Similarly, question number 13, 14 and this question number 15 now we will take, because here you can say that the question number 12, 13, 14, these are belongs to the binary operations, and binary operations are not to be included in our syllabus. So that we are taking the next question number 15. Let A is minus 1 0 1 2, B equals to minus 4 minus 2 0 2, F G A to B. Both the functions are to be defined from A to B. Fx equals to x square minus x and gx equals to 2 times of modulus x minus half minus 1. We are checking f and g are equal or not. Basically, a very systematic part is to be there. Only just we have to check whether the f and g are said to be equal or not. So the very basic question is there, student. Only if we have to obtain, if we have to obtain, if both the functions are equal, then we have to check the input from these elements, and we will check the output according to this f function and g function. If we are obtaining the same output of the functions, then both are said to be the equal function, because their domain are equal, and we will check the range part. If any functions are equal, then their domain and range are always said to be the equal. So domain is already same, because both the functions are to be defined from A to B, but we will check the range part. B is the codomain, but we have to check the range. Range means we have to check the output of these functions. So minus 1 0 1 2, and this is minus 4 minus 2 0 2. This is the set A and B, and fx is x square minus x, and gx is 2 into x minus half modulus minus 1. Okay, next question number 15 we are taking here. So in this question number 15, f and g both are the functions defined from A to B, and here you can say that set A we will write. First of all, set A is to be given as minus 1 0 1 or 2. Next, set B is to be given as minus, you can say that minus 2 0 2 4, or you can say, you can check the question again. Set B is what? Set B is you can say that minus 4 minus 2. So you can check the set B. So set B is to be given as minus 4 minus 2 0 2. Okay, and this fx is x square minus x. Okay, so you can just revert the part here. Minus 4 minus 2 0 and 2. Is it to be clear? Fx is what? X square minus x, and gx is what? 2 into modulus x minus 1 by 2 minus 1. Now student, we have to check whether both the functions are equal or not. So first of all, we will check the answer of f of minus 1, then we will check the answer of f of 0, then we will check the answer of f of 1 and f of 2. So f of minus 1, so minus 1 is to be used here, then this is 1 plus 1 will be equals to 2. 0 will be used, then answer will be 0. 1 will be used, then 1 minus 1, answer will be 0. 2 will be used, then answer 4 minus 2. So 4 minus 2 will be 2. So this is the range part. Means you can say that the range of f, you can say that range of f will be declared as 2 0 and 2. Now we will check the output of g function. G of minus 1, g of 0, g of 1 and g of 2. We will check the range of this g also. If the range of f and g are found to be same, then both the functions are said to be equal. So g of minus 1, so we will use here minus 1. So minus 1 minus 1 by 2. So this is minus 3 by 2. Modulus sign is to be there, then 3 by 2. So we can say that 2 into 3 by 2 minus 1. So it is cancel out, 3 minus 1 will be 2. 0. 0 we will use, then this is plus half. So you can say that this is 2 into 1 by 2 minus 1. So this is 1 minus 1 will be 0. Then after we will say that next element we are taking here 1. So 1 minus half, again this answer will be 0. 2 will be used, then 2 minus half, again 3 by 2. So again we will get the answer 0. So the range of G you will obtain as the same in f. So both the domain and range are equal of the functions. So f and g are equal. F and g are equal function. So easily student you can just provide the answer. two functions are said to be equal if and only if their domain and range are said to be same. So domain is already given as equal, but you can check the range. Here B is not the range part, B is said to be the codomain. So we will check for the range part. So easily you can check the output of each and every part according to the given definition of the function, and obtain, we will obtain the same range. Then we can say that f and g are said to be the equal function. Is it to be clear? Next question, pause the video to note it down. We will take here question number 16. So question number 16, student, is to be given here. Let A 1 2 3, then number of relations containing 1 2 1 3 which are reflexive and symmetric but not transitive. A very important question is to be given. 1 2 3, let we will just simplify the answer here only. Let A is this number of relations containing 1 2 and 1 3 which are reflexive, symmetric but not transitive. So in this question number 16, just we are saying that any relation R we will write here. Just we will write the any relation R. Then definitely student, any relation R is said to be the reflexive, symmetric but not transitive. Then what we will do? So basically, if any of the relation is to be taken here, then for the reflexive nature we will say that 1 2 3 means 1 1 is to be there, 2 2 is to be there, 3 3 will be there, and it is also to be given which contains 1 2 and 1 3, which contain 1 2 and 1 3. Symmetric means 1 2 is there, then 2 1 will be also there, 1 3 is there, then 3 1 will be also there. Is it to be clear? So we can just take this question on the board, so there should be no problem. Next question number 15 is to be given as, suppose any relation is to be defined on this set A1 2 and A3, and here it is reflexive. Reflexive means 1 1 is to be there, 2 2 is to be there, 3 3 is to be there, and it is also to be given 1 2 and 1 3 means here 1 2 is there, then 2 1 is to be there, and you can say that 1 3 is there, then 3 1 is to be there. Now student, we have to just calculate A cross A. In A cross A, how many elements are to be there? So basically you can say that 1 1 2 2 3 3, 9 elements are to be there. Next 1 2 1 3, next you can say that 2 1 2 3, and you can say that 3 1 and 3 2. So these are existed. Now the relation, now this relation you can check, it is said to be reflexive because all the 1 1 2 2 3 3 are to be available here. Now this is symmetric because 1 2 then 2 1 and 1 3 then 3 1. So it is always said to be the symmetric. Now the student, it is not said to be the transitive. Then how the transitive condition? So total number of ordered pair in A cross A will be equals to 9. So these ordered pair equals to 9, and you can check the number of ordered pair. You have to write 3 plus 4. So 7 ordered pair are to be written. Means 2 ordered pair are not to be written, and which ordered pair is not to be written here? This particular ordered pair 2 3 and 3 2. Suppose if we have to write 2 3, then it will be 3 2 will be also to be written, and in case of 2 3 and 3 2 are to be written, then this is said to be the universal relation, and universal will be always said to be reflexive, symmetric or transitive. So you cannot take 2 3 and 3 2 here. Is it to be clear? Because only 2 3 you cannot take, because it will be a symmetric relation. So student, we will check this relation. Now it is said to be, so basically in this case 1 3 and 3 1, then 1 1 will be also. Now you can take this part, you can take these two elements. Here you can say that 2 1, 2 1 means you can take 1 3. So this is supposed to be taken as AB, and this is supposed to be taken as BC. Now for the transitive, AC will be there. So 2 3 does not belongs to R because no 2 3 will be available here. So only this relation, only one relation is to be there. Only one relation is there, and which is written here. This relation R1 is written here. So only one relation is there, which is reflexive, symmetric but not transitive. Symmetric but not transitive. Is it to be clear? Then the question is of the objective type of question, but in our examination generally the subjective questions are to be asked. So we have to keep in mind the whole reflexive nature, symmetric and transitive, how we will check. So in this question, which option is to be correct, we can check here. So in this question number 15, it is to be asked that uh, A equals to 1, 2, 3, then number of relations containing 1, 2 and 1, 3 which are reflexive, symmetric but not transitive. So only one relation is to be there. So the option number A will be the correct answer here. So the option number A will be the correct answer. In question number 17, let A be the set given as the 1, 2, 3, then total number of equivalence relations that should contain the 1 and 2. Means this ordered pair should be contained by each and every equivalence relation. Then how many equivalence relations you can derive? Is that to be clear? So we will take this question, student. So here in this question number 17, any set A is to be given as 1, 2 and 3. Now it is to be given, we have to find the total number of equivalence relation which contains the ordered pair 1 and 2. So total number of equivalence relations containing 1 comma 2, we have to just calculate this thing. Is it to be clear? So basically student, if any of the relation is said to be equivalence, then you know very well it should be reflexive, symmetric and transitive. Means if any of the relation will be reflexive, symmetric and transitive, then it is said to be the equivalence relation. Is it to be clear? So now student, we have to declare a relation first of all. So suppose any relation R1 we are making. So equivalence means it should be reflexive, symmetric and transitive. For the reflexive case, we can say that this 1, 1 will be there, 2, 2 will be there, 3, 3 will be there. Because any relation is said to be reflexive, then each and every element has its image with itself always. Next student, the particular equivalence relation that we want to make, that's contain 1 comma 2. So if 1 comma 2 is to be there, then 2 comma 1 is also to be there. Is that to be clear? Now this is the equivalence relation. This is said to be the equivalence relation. So one equivalence relations you can make which contain this particular given ordered pair 1 comma 2, because here this 1 is to be related with 2 and 2 is related with 1, then definitely 1 is related with 1 here. So there should be no ambiguity in this particular kind of relation. Now we will make the second relation, and again the second relation should be equivalence and must contain this particular element 1 comma 2. So basically student, in A cross A generally we can say that total number of 9 ordered pair are to be written here, out of which 3 plus 2 5 ordered pair are to be already written in this particular relation R1. Now the left means the remaining ordered pair, we can just write here the some remaining ordered pair. So the remaining ordered pair you can write here, so that easily which ordered pair is to be get included or which is not set is to be get not included, we can see each and everything. So the ordered pair which is remaining as 1 3, 3 1, 2 3 and 3 2, these 4 ordered pair are to be remaining here, which are to be included, but in such a way that the relation should be equivalence. Is it to be clear? So again we will just write the relation R2, 1 1, this is 2 2, this is 3 3, because the relation should be reflexive, so these elements are to be definitely included here. Now 1 2 is to be there because only in this question we have to find the equivalence relation which contain 1 and 2. That's why 1 2 means there should be also the availability of 2 1 is to be also, because the relation said to be the symmetric. Next, suppose we are just including 1 3. 1 3 is to be get included, then 3 1 is also to be get included, because for the symmetric purpose just we are including AB and BC both. Now student, we can check whether it should be equivalence or not. So basically you can just check this thing. Definitely you are saying that here 1 2 is there, no problem, 2 1 is there, then 1 1 is to be there, so there should be no problem in the transitive case. But you can take the next part. Suppose suppose we are taking here 1 3 and 3 1, then definitely 1 1 is also to be there. Now suppose we are just including the next ordered pair 2 3 and 3 2, 2 3 and a 3 2. Then in this case, this particular relation is said to be the universal relation, because all the kind of ordered pair are to be get included here. So in this particular kind of relation, it should be known as the universal relation. Is it to be clear? So in such kind of cases, definitely student, you can just say that the particular relation is said to be the equivalence relation. So basically you can just check the thing, this is said to be the universal, you can say that, and any of the universal relation is always said to be the reflexive, symmetric and transitive. So you can make the second relation R2, which is which also contain the element 1 comma 2, and it is also said to be the equivalence relation, because any of the universal relation you can write that should be always said to be reflexive, symmetric and transitive. No any other kind of relation, student, you cannot make, because other relations does not contain the transitive case. So in this question number 17, just we are saying this is the particular kind of relation which contain the element 1 and 2 here, and definitely the answer of this question is 2, means there are two equivalence relations are to be there, which are said to be the equivalence, means you can say that reflexive, symmetric and transitive. So just students, you can just check the answer of this question number 17, then definitely you will just see the answer here. So which option is to be get correct, you can check here. So in this question number 17, option number B is the correct answer. Option number B is the correct answer, where the total number of equivalence relations that we have to tell, which contains the element 1 comma 2. Is that to be clear? So next question, student, we are taking as the question number 18. So in this question number 18, let f r to r be the signum function. I think each and every student know very well about the signum function, because it provides only three values in as output, because it will provide the +1 when x is greater than 0, it will provide 0 when x equals to 0, it will provide it as -1 when x is less than 0. Is it to be clear? Now let g is the any function, r to r be the greatest integer function. Now each and every student know very well about the greatest integer function also. Now in this question, then does FOG and GOF coincide in this interval, upper interval 0 to 1 or not? Just we have to check this thing. Is it to be clear? So I think the question will be clear. Student, in this question, how the particular answer is to be get written, we have to see this thing. So in this question number 18, basically any function fx is to be given as signum function. So this is 1 if x is greater than 0, this is 0 if x equals to 0, this is -1 if x is less than 0, and another function gx is also to be given, that should be known as the greatest integer of function. Is it to be clear? Now student, I think each and every student know very well about the greatest integer part, because greatest integer function always provide a value which is just less than or equals to the given integer, means integer value is the answer of this particular part, and that integer should be always equal to or just less than the given value. Is it to be clear? Now student, in this question, just we have to find out the answer of fog x and gof x. First of all, we have to just calculate the answer of fog and gof x. Then if both the answers are found to be same, and if we have to draw the graph of both the functions after composition, if we will get the same graph, then definitely you can say that they will coincide in this given interval, and the interval of x will be given as upper interval 0 to 1. In this interval, we have to check whether both fog and gof with coincide or not. So basically, if we will able to draw same graph of this part and this part, then definitely they will coincide. If the graph are differ in this particular interval of both the function, then we can say that they are not said to be the coincide with each other. So basically student, first of all, we have to just calculate the FOGX or GOFX. So basically in this interval, first of all, for x belongs to 0 to 1. So in this interval, what should be the answer of fx? So in this particular part, fx is always said to be 1. So first of all, we can declare this function fx, because we are just considering only this interval. This whole definition will represent this part as fx equals to 1, because for x greater than 0, the answer of this signum function is always said to be fx equals to 1. Is that to be clear? Now, now the student, we have to calculate the gof x. Now we have to calculate the gof x. So gof x will be represented as g of f of x. G of f of x. Now, according to the given interval 0 to 1, if we have to take this interval 0 to 1, then definitely this will be given as answer of g of 1 and g of 1. So, basically greatest integer of 1 will be always found to be 1. Is it to be clear? Now, secondly student, we have to just define the gx function also. Gx function will give the two answers because for the interval x belongs to 0 to 1 open interval, this particular answer will be 0, and if we are taking x equals to 1, then the answer is said to be 1. So, you know very well about the definition of gx function. It will be the greatest integer function. So, from 0 to 1 the answer will be 0, and for x equals to 1 the definitely answer should be 1. Now student, we have to just calculate the f o g x. So, f o g x will be written as f of g of x. First of all, we have to write this thing, and in this case, if gx belongs to, basically x belongs to 0 to 1. So, basically student, we can say that here x belongs to 0 to 1, then what should be the answer? So, the answer of this particular part will be 0 and f of 0. So, f of 0 will be 0. So, in this case, the answer should be taken as 0. Next, suppose we are taking x equals to 1. So, x equals to 1, then g of 1. So, g of 1 will provide the answer of f of 1, and here f of 1 means, again student, for the positive part the answer is found to be 1. So, this is the answer of fog x and this is the answer of gof x. So, both the answers we have to calculate. Now student, firstly you can just imagine this particular function will contain only a single element in this given interval 0 to 1. That should be 1, and in this function there are two values. For 0 to 1 open interval, the answer of for f of gx will be 0, and for x equals to 1 it should be 1. So, definitely if we have to draw the graph of both the function, we have to draw the graph of both the function x axis and this is y axis. Then first of all we have to draw the graph of f of g o f x. So, students, suppose this is said to be 1, here this is said to be 1, then only we will get this point, because according to this question, it is in this particular interval 0 to 1, the answer is found to be 1. Is it to be clear? So, you can take any value of x from 0 to 1, then answer is always found to be 1, means this point is to be represented. So, this is the only graph of GOFX, means only one point is to be there. Is that to be clear? Now, similarly, suppose we have to draw the graph. We have to draw the graph of FOGX. So, FOGX will be, for x belongs to 0 to 1. So, this is 0 and here this is 1. Then 0 to 1, the answer will be 0. Means 0 and 1 both are not said to be included here. So, we have to take the open interval here, but this part will be the answer in this interval. As well as you can say that for x equals to 1. So, suppose this is 1, then this is 1. So, this point will also contain this particular function. So, the graph of this function should be this part, you can say that this part and this part, both are said to be the graph of this particular function. So, this function will represented as FOGX. Now, student, you can check both the graph, this graph and this graph. This graph will contain only a single point, but this graph will contain this point as well as this part. Means definitely student, in this given interval the graph of both the functions are not found to be same, and you can also check the definition in this interval is not found to be same. So, you can say that both the FOG and GOF does not coincide with each other in the given interval. So, FOG and GOF does not coincide with each other in the interval x belongs to 0 to 1. X belongs to, you can say that, open interval 0 to 1. So, this should be the answer of this question number 18, student. Student, these are the some basic questions, but we have to just think about the particular part. Easily you can observe the FOG and GOF part, but student, here the important function signum, and you can say that another greatest integer is to be given. So, according to their functioning, just we have to calculate the answer of FOG and GOF. So, you can say that both the function FOG and GOF doesn't have same graph or doesn't have same definition, you can check here, so that they will not coincide with each other in this interval 0 to 1. Is it to be clear? Now student, now the next question we are taking, that should be the question number 19. So, in this question number 19, again number of binary operations on the set A, B are. So, basically student, in this particular question this particular question will be related to the binary operation, but just I will tell the answer of this part. Then what should be the answer of this part? So number of binary operation on the set A and B. So there are two elements are to be given, A and a B. Is it to be clear? Now again the very important part, the particular answer that should be given as 16 here. How this particular answer is to be given? Student, we can say that binary operation is to be always applied between the two numbers. Then just we have to calculate the total number of binary operations. So total number of binary operations will be written as 2 raised to power n square. You can say that basically n is what? You can say that these elements will represented as A and 2. There are two values of n. So you can say that this will be 2 square, 2 square will be equals to 4, and 2 raised to power 4 that should be given as the answer of 16. But this is not included in your syllabus, so there should be no problem related to this question. You doesn't matter whether we are just doing this question or not, because this is not said to be included in your syllabus. Is it to be clear? So student, in this miscellaneous exercise, basic questions are to be there, and some basic different phenomena we have to adopt to simplify the each and every question. So these things are the very important part you have to keep in mind. And just student, again I am saying that you have to just simplify the questions, because if you will simplify the each and every question, then definitely you will get the proper concept. Otherwise, if you are not doing the practice, then definitely student, after some time these particular things are to get eliminated from your mind. So each and everything is to be very important for each and every student, and we have to keep in mind the each and everything, and regularly you are doing the practice of these things, then definitely you will get the understood the concept. And definitely in this particular chapter, where the various many of the student will get confused, you will not get confused, but before that you have to just do the practice. So practice is the very important part. Suppose you are just listening and just you are seeing the video only, then student, the concept will not be understood by you, because this particular chapter requires more and more practice, more and more thinking process, how the particular things are to be assumed, how the particular things are to be taken, each and everything we have to just keep in mind. And student, this particular thing are to be also included in your entire calculus part also, where again the various type of functions we have to see, and then after we have to see the graph, then whether the function is 1 1 or not, on 2 or not, each and everything we have to just consider in the next session calculus part also. So these particular type relation and functions are to be the very important part. Now the student turn is the attempt to a subjective paper that should be given to you. So student, in the next class just we will simplify the subjective test paper, but before that student, it is painful duty of you of all of you, so that you have to just simplify before see the video. Is it to be clear? Before seeing the solution, just you have to attempt the video, so that easily you can check whether we are getting the concept or not. Suppose any of the student just seeing the video, then after he is doing the question paper, then that doesn't matter. Is it to be clear? Means just you have to verify the concept, whether we are getting the concept or not, whether we are attempt the question or not, each and everything you have to just keep in mind, and just you have to simplify the subjective paper that should be given. Is it to be clear? So in the next video student, we will meet with the solution of that subjective paper. Thank you.